For me.
Bacchus VIII, Mr. Perry Como, Sunday, February 29th. The 1976 crew of Bacchus gave a royal welcome to its king, Mr. Perry Como. Bacchus VIII, god of wine, merriment, and the very heart of Mardi Gras. This year, the spirit of Carnival met the spirit of '76 as Bacchus joined the salute to the bicentennial. It's back to the year of the Revolution with the crew that made a few themselves. Mardi Gras to the tune of Yankee Doodle, history to the ring of doubloons and beads. A new kind of carnival was born with Bacchus. And for '76, Bacchus gave the city that care forgot something to really remember. A Bacchus extravaganza, a complete tour of the entertainment world with Carnival, a parade, Superdome spectacular, music, live entertainment, participation in a national TV show, celebrities, stars, a party. All seen on a television special broadcast live from the Rivergate. Here's what we saw Sunday, February 29th, as New Orleans welcomed Bacchus VIII, Perry Como, in the great Bacchus tradition of Mardi Gras by the people, for the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bacchus VIII. We're at the Rivergate this evening, where an immense crowd in excess of 4,000 have gathered to pay tribute to His Majesty, the God of Wine and Merriment. I'm Mel Levitt, and joining me tonight is a tribute to Perry Como. Wayne.
Hi, Mel. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. This is certainly a most exciting and explosive and auspicious occasion.
That it is.
And to make it even more auspicious, do you know that we have a former president in our midst?
I knew Bacchus was capable of miracles, but this is indeed rare.
This is it. And all I have to say to introduce this former president is, give him hell, Harry.
Thank you very much. This is the greatest thing that has happened since the election of 1924 and 1948.
Three of New Orleans' favorite personalities, Mel Levitt, Wayne Mack, and nationally known actor Ed Nelson, hosted the hour-long special from the Rivergate. As always, Bacchus gave Carnival something new, something extra. And the lanyap this year started with some pretty special, familiar faces.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce to you a man who feels so much the spirit of Mardi Gras that he dressed for the occasion. Not as he might have dressed, because he happens to be the governor of the state of Louisiana, Mr. Edwin Edwards. Governor Edwards.
Thank you, Mel. It's my pleasure to introduce the king of Bacchus. He's one of our own, Mr. Comeux, the incomparable, magnificent, wonderful Perry Como. Let's bring him on with a big hand.
Thank you, Governor. I'd like to tell you that it's been a very happy experience the last 4 hours. I hope I didn't hit anybody with those balloons or whatever. That's very dangerous out there. It really is. No, we're supposed to do a song with the Southern University. Are the boys here?
Right out here. Southern University Band, right out here.
How are you, boys?
I
music all night long. As long as I make music, I can do nobody no wrong. Who knows, maybe someday I'll come up with a song. Makes people want to stop the fussing and fighting just long enough to get along. I believe in music. I believe in love. I believe in music. I believe in love. Love is music, if you know what I mean. People who believe in music, I can't even read the cards. So clap your hands and stomp your feet and shake your tambourine. Lift your voices to the sky. God love you when you sing. I believe in love. I believe in music. I believe in love. I think they're coming to get us.
One of the largest pre-carnival crowds in the city's history jammed the streets that Sunday night. Thousands along the parade route cheered what has now become one of Carnival's brightest highlights. New Orleans' own revolutionists, armed with all the trinkets and trappings of Mardi Gras in the Bacchus parade.
Highlights earlier at Gallier Hall. These have been specially edited for tonight's presentation. You're watching the St. Augustine Marching 100. And aren't they fantastic? These are the Purple Knights from St. Aug. And they annually hold auditions, and out of a great number of contestants, they pick 100 of the best musically inclined students to play in their marching band. Always a tremendous part of our carnival tradition, the St. Aug Marching 100. And look at those Purple Knights swagger. Now here comes the captain. Actually, we call him the parade marshal in Bacchus. And he has 3 golden chargers. Well, they're white. They should be gold by now. He's earned it. We can't reveal his identity, but he looks like a prominent Royal Street merchant to me. However, I can't tell you who he is, only that he is the parade marshal and he rides a golden chariot with 3 milk white steeds. They're moving up now in front of Gallier Hall. Tremendous crowds in the street. Hundreds of thousands of people choking the streets of New Orleans to watch the 8th annual parade of Bacchus. And of course, doubloons are part of the tradition. Throw me something, mister. Throw me a Mardi Gras. And now the big moment. Well, in just a moment, be coming up, we're going to look at the Bacchus officer's float because it's one of the extravaganzas. Look at the revolving grapes that we have on the front of the float and the huge head of Bacchus. I'm not sure that's Bacchus after, not before. He looks like he's had a few. A snort or two with the never-empty wine cup. This has, in the short space of 8 years, become one of the most fantastic parades in America. Fully animated with 24 floats tonight, depicting the spirit of '76. Tulane University Band, some 80 strong. And now the first of the theme floats, and one of the more spectacular. You see the 3 Revolutionary War figures marching ahead, beautifully sculpted by Blaine Kern Artists Incorporated. That's a spinning Catherine wheel, and of course the masker's done up as Uncle Sam. This is Carnival in New Orleans. Yet another of the theme floats. And this honored the spirit of exploration and Christopher Columbus. Bobbing up and down there on some unseen sea is his ship, the Santa Maria. Somewhere I think the Nina and Pinta got sidetracked, but anyhow, there's the Santa Maria and the Masters. And whoever is the god of the wind blowing them on. Another remarkable float. And now, of course, the big moment arrives. His Majesty. Bacchus VIII, Perry Como, being greeted at Gallier Hall. And you just know from having seen Perry over the years that he enjoys himself no matter what he does. But tonight his face was beaming throughout the entire parade, and I guess everybody just felt, as he did, that this was a night to remember. He's enjoyed 10 days now in the city of New Orleans. What a great sense of humor. There was the mayor catching some doubloons. And look at the crowd. Of course, there's something extra special when you get a special doubloon from Bacchus himself. The Bacchus Rendezvous, Wayne, and that was some of the highlights, just a few of the parade which you saw, which I saw, which Ed saw, and was really magnificent.
I tell you, it was really something from the float itself. Looking at it was a fantastic crowd. They really enjoyed it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. That was wonderful. We couldn't show all the highlights, not even Ed Nelson's highlights. He's got a couple up here. You know, the Bacchus ball continually utilizes a lot of local bands and entertainers. And one that you just can't do without is a super band with a super beat. And tonight we could call it the Bacchus beat. Pat Barbaro and an old favorite, American Patrol. Pat?
crew of Bacchus has been accused, praised, lambasted, and lauded for breaking with deep-set carnival tradition. But all agree the hijinks of Bacchus has added a whole new and welcome dimension to Mardi Gras. For example, this year, while reigning as Bacchus VIII, Perry Como filmed his national TV special here in New Orleans. Through film clips presented in the Bacchus Rivergate program, viewers went behind the scenes of the Perry Como Springtime in New Orleans special. The nation saw it on April 7th. But here's what Bacchus gave New Orleans on February 29th.
Warm round of applause to the executive producer of the Perry Como Show, Mr. Bob Banner. Bob, we're going to go behind the scenes. Bob, we're going to go behind the scenes here a little bit to some of the scenes which, of course, the folks will not see on the Perry Como special here in New Orleans, and possibly you can help us out a little bit. Where are we here?
Let's see.
Looks like we're right down there in the old French Quarter, right around the Royal Street, perhaps.
Royal
Let's see.
Street. This was the opening number on the special. We had a little bit of trouble getting Perry to ride leisurely in a carriage, though, because we had about 2,000 people that found us photographing that day. As you'll see, when the carriage starts to move, they all crowd right in behind.
Of course, a leisurely carriage ride might put Mr. C to sleep, huh?
I think so.
This is where he sang Who Will Buy, huh?
I guess we couldn't expect, if you find someone going down the street singing with a carriage and a full orchestra blasting out on a speaker, I suppose it wouldn't be too unusual to find 1,000 people following along to see what the devil was going on.
Well, you know, New Orleanians are curious, and when they see a group of people, they want to find out what's going on. Bob, is there anything unusual you found about the city here during your taping?
We found that it was very easy to get the show done here. The people were quite cooperative, and although they're crowding around here, there really weren't any problem. We were glad to have them with us. We found that on Royal Street, on the river, wherever we were, the people provided a natural group of extras for us, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah. Well, New Orleanians are animated by nature. And, of course, you had a very animated person with you in Dick Van Dyke along for this special, too, didn't you?
We sure did. Dick and Leslie Uggams were tremendous here. I think it was all of their first trip to the Mardi Gras, including Perry's. He had never been here for the Mardi Gras season.
Oh, amazing. I noticed Perry didn't pay the driver when he got out of the carriage there.
Well, no, he did
He gave him a little handshake.
little handshake. That was about the 5th take, I think, so he'd run out of money.
Well, now this is what now? Beautiful, looks like Jackson Square there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, this is in Jackson Square when they were getting ready to photograph a number with Dick Van Dyke. And several of the young people from the Olympia Jazz Band participated in this number.
And Tony Bevanetto, too, was a choreographer for the kids, wasn't he?
Yes, Tony Bevanetto, whom I suppose most people in New Orleans know well. He's had several television shows here. They're the old trusty cue cards. And these are the young people from the Olympia Brass Band that performed with Dick Van Dyke. There's Dick now.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great comments about Van Dyke as a person, his great spirit and cooperative energy.
He's tremendous. You know, he started work here in New Orleans. One of his first jobs was here at WDSU.
Right, I joined the station not long after he left there. And here we have Dick with the kids, and those youngsters have some spirit, and Tony Bevanetto must have done a great job with them.
Yes, here are the kids from the Olympia Brass Band.
And the Pigeons.
And the Pigeons. We had a scene with Perry and the Pigeons. We gave him a little handful of seed, and he said, well, who's going to get the pigeons out here? And we said, just open your hand, drop the seed, and you'll find out.
I suppose working with him, too, the people who are around him enjoy that atmosphere, huh?
They do. There he is with the pigeons. Look at that. He couldn't believe it when he put his hand in his pocket and threw out some seed. There are thousands of pigeons there that day. They are incredible.
Did you have a special member of the union in charge of the crumbs for the pigeon?
No, we just had one sack of corn, and that's all it took for the whole time.
Well, he looks right at home there in historic Jackson Square, and with Dick Van Dyke, and it's, I think, great that he should come back here. Now, here's Perry in looks like a raincoat there. What is this here? Oh, is this Brennan's courtyard?
This is the courtyard at Brennan's, where he was singing Do You Know What It Means to Miss New Orleans, a closing number. But a strange thing happened. The night that he was getting ready to start filming this, I think that's the end of the film.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your point there.
Well, we had to wait for about 50 minutes until they could get the locusts to stop singing there in Brennan's courtyard.
Is that right?
It sounded just like static on the mic, but they find...
He had a choir that didn't belong to the union.
No, it sure did.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you, Wayne.
Again, Bacchus nudged the rules a bit. This year's innovation, for the very first time, Bacchus played the Superdome. A crowd of 30,000 screamed and scrambled for the favors of Bacchus VIII as the 75-unit parade rolled through the Louisiana Superdome.
A giant extravaganza of a show is still going on, as a matter of fact, the Superdome tonight. This is the first effort of its magnitude in the city of New Orleans. And I imagine there will be people there until 2 or 3 in the morning with the Ike and Tina Turner Review, Harry James and his orchestra, Irma Thomas, Professor Longhair, Lou Sino and his Bengals performed earlier. It's really difficult to capture the tremendous scope of the mammoth house party that we witnessed earlier. The colossal Superdome, the first indoor parade and obviously the biggest in the history of New Orleans or any other city. This is just one of the magnificent floats. Notice the sculpted bald eagle, the Twin Towers, and the original Betsy Ross flag on the side to capture, in this case, the spirit of liberty. There you see the huge sign flickering on and off in the background. And those hands always outstretched with the people screaming and yelling, "Throw me something, mister, throw me a Mardi Gras."
Superstars and the Superdome. The parade, a network special, and the night had just begun. The Bacchus TV special was yet to bring viewers the lively contemporary music of Adam's Apple, an aria by Metropolitan Opera star and native New Orleanian, Miss Marguerite Piazza. More big band sounds from Pat Barbaro. And, of course...
But I do want to thank the governor and the mayor, the police force, I tell you, there's so many people to thank. I don't even know where to start. But on behalf of Bob Banner and his associates and Nick Perito, Ray Charles, George Norton, all of us, we want to thank you so very much for being very helpful. We filmed the show here. And of course, this today has been the biggest thrill ever for me. Really. I also want to thank all the members of the Bacchus organization. You guys are just too much, really. You made it very comfortable. And we all appreciate it very much.
Another opulent jewel for the Bacchus crown. One more page of spectacular memories for the Carnival scrapbook. Like New Year's Day, 4th of July, like most special events, the Day of Bacchus happens only once each year. But New Orleans remembers, savors it, and waits.